Hello everyone, Christina Werner here. Welcome to another live stream here at my YouTube channel. I apologize for starting just a couple of minutes late. I wanted to add a couple links to the video description. So here at the start, if you would like to refresh your page or exit and come back in, feel free to do that. I'm going to chit chat here for a little bit here, so that'll give you time. I just added a link to a brush set that I'm planning on trying out tonight, and also to the latest episode of Craft Roulette, which is a YouTube kind of game show, crafting show that I was on this week that I want to tell you guys about here at the beginning. I wanted to make sure that those links were included. Okay, so I have my list of things I need to talk about. So the first is Craft Roulette. And okay, so some of you, I recognize you from my chat. We're over watching Craft Roulette this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Craft Roulette is sort of like a crafting game show where Mary, who is the host, and then a crafty guest, they both create a project based on some parameters that a spinning wheel gives you. So this last week I was on and I asked Mary, like, how many submissions do you get? Like, or what's the top number that you've ever received? Because after, the show is over, or even during it, actually, people can submit their own cards that they've created for that challenge for the night. And she said that the top number so far is 502 submissions. And we are aiming for 503. We're going to do it this week, so I want to invite you all to go over there and check out that episode of Craft Roulette. There were 4 parameters, super easy. I thought it was fairly easy. Let's see, it was, oh my gosh, if I can remember correctly, it was a congratulations card with best friends. There's some aspect of best friends on it, with hummingbird colors, which hummingbirds come in almost every color, so you can, do with that what you want. And then you need to make sure there are leaves on it, like add leaves to it. So I think that could lend itself to a lot of cards, right? So you have through, is it just through, the deadline was to submit was on Sunday? I thought it was all week. Okay, 372 submissions right now. Let me make sure that I'm not telling you guys incorrectly, because that would be very, very sad. I'm going to go over there and just check really quick. Okay, where is it? Craft Roulette. I thought you had until like all week. Hold on, I'm going to their website right now because I want to make sure. Latest gallery. 372. Can you still contribute? I don't know. The deadline was last night. Are you kidding me? Oh man. I'm so sad. All right. Well, I was going to tell you all to go do it, but never mind. I'm now going to remove the link from, I'm removing it from the video description. Well, I'm bummed. I thought you had like longer than just through Sunday. That's annoying. It's Sunday unless you're a member. Well, I don't want to make you all go be members. But anyway, you can go check out my episode. It was a lot of fun. Only 372 guys. We didn't do it. But you know what? I didn't like encourage a ton of you to do it because I thought I'd have tonight to do it. Oh, wow. I'm kind of bummed, but that's okay. That's okay. That just means we have to go back. We have to be on it again. And then we're going to beat that 502. I'm wondering, who was the person who had 502? Was that May? I think she said it was May. Anyway, okay, so my other thing on my list, I have an upcoming class, an online class that happens on October 23rd, and it is going to be a class over in a private Facebook group for Creative Scrapbooker magazine. So they have a private Facebook group, I think it's called Village of Inspiring People. And you pay like $15 a month, and it's a really great and supportive Facebook group. And they also bring in outside instructors to teach classes here and there. And then the classes are archived within their Facebook group. So Jackie from Creative Scrapbooker reached out to me gosh, it must have been 6 months ago, and said, hey, would you want to do a class? And I said, absolutely. Let's make it a holiday class. So I wanted to let you guys know there's links down in the video description. Basically what it is you sign up on a monthly basis for access to this Facebook group. And then you get access to everything in the whole group, including 3 years worth of content. So there's a big variety of classes that they've done over the years, lots of mixed media, scrapbooking, painting, just like all sorts of stuff. And so I'm going to be teaching a watercolor class, kind of loosely based on my Simply Watercolor classes over onlinecardclasses.com. Those classes are no stamps, no dies. You can use a Crayola watercolor set. It's so easy and simple. We are making three cards. And when you click over to that link that I've got below, you can actually see the 3 cards we're going to be making. In real time, I'm going to be walking you through the creation of those cards. It also comes with a PDF with some kind of like some template aids to help you make those 3 cards. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. If you want to wait until October 1st to sign up, because that's October is your month, you can. And I really hope you enjoy all the content over in that Facebook group and that you choose to remain a member. I've heard it's a really, really great Facebook group. Lots of encouragement and crafty and artistic people. So, sorry, I'm losing my voice. Last week I was sick. I'm getting over a cold. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay. Connie is asking, any idea when your new stamps and dies will be restocked? Everything's on order. I've heard as soon as this week, but I don't know. I would say to be safe, maybe next week. I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful. I'm eagerly awaiting all of those items from the September release that went out of stock. I think there's still one die set that is in stock if you wanted to pick that up now. But everything else is mostly sold out as far as I know. And Melinda, thank you. Melinda says, I love your glasses. Thank you. That's so sweet. Okay. Oh, Cheryl says, in reference to Craft Roulette, Christina's card was mind-blowing. It was so good. It was, I did no line watercoloring. So even if you don't want to do, if you don't want to do any future Craft Roulette challenges, but you do want to see how I did some no line watercoloring just on the fly, that's in that episode of Craft Roulette. Okay. Oh, and Vanessa says for Craft Roulette members, you have until Thursday. So if you're a member, go do it. Go do it. I don't know that we're going to get about 175 of you before Thursday, but one can hope. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Any other questions? I think we're good. I think we're going to go ahead and switch over to the overhead camera and we'll get into what I'm doing for today. Okay, so hello. I have my watercolor set in front. And okay, so today's, I have to look this up on my phone so I can show you. Today's kind of like watercolor inspiration comes directly from a reel I saw on Instagram from the account called This Writing Desk, which I know some of you in the chat already follow this creator because I could see that you had liked some posts. I could see them. Okay, so and just hopefully they don't mind me sharing this, but basically they did like a puddle of water and then painted trees into the bottom, and the bottom of the trees touches that puddle of water, and then it wicks away all of the color and you get this really cool effect. Sorry, it's gonna block my face on my face camera, but you can see that. So I thought, that looks amazing. I want to try that. So we're gonna try that. And I thought maybe we could even change it up a little bit and maybe not just do trees, but maybe try some leaves, like some really simple leaf shapes. I thought that could be kind of fun too. So, okay, let me grab some watercolor paper. I've just got like 2 random sheets of watercolor paper hanging around. What are those from? I don't even know. But they were just sitting there. All right, and we're going to test out a new set of watercolor brushes tonight that came in the mail from Amazon. I did add those to the links down below if you want to check it out. But, you know, wait until we test them out because who knows? I might not like them. And, you know, I would hate for you to order them and then 20 minutes from now, I'm like, you guys, these brushes aren't terrible. I would hate for you to have already ordered them. Like, I would feel so bad. So, anyway, I'm going to start by taping down my watercolor paper. Okay. Andrea, Christina's channeling her inner Bob Ross with their happy little trees. Well, I'm hoping they're going to be happy little trees. We don't want sad trees tonight. No sad trees. Hello, everyone who's joining and popping into the chat. Happy to have you here. Have you seen all the posts of mixing paints and getting cool new colors? Yes, I have seen. Are you talking about the ones where they have like two different colors and they have a palette knife and they're just mixing them? I love those. They're so satisfying to watch. Yes, I have seen those. Those are so fun. Okay, so the watercolor brushes I'm testing today are from Artegria. I think it's how I say it, Artegria. 10 premium quality watercolor art brushes. Well, let's see if they're actually premium. This is my first time looking at them. I cut the seal so I could open it, but that's about it. Because, you know, for how inexpensive they were, are they premium? Are they? Are they? Okay, let's get these open. Well, they have a nice little case, so I'll give them that. And there's a lot of them. Okay. Oh my word, they're all sealed up. Which in most cases is probably a good thing, but this is really... How do I open you? Okay. Well, they have a really, really long barrel, which is... Let's just compare. Is it? Yeah, it is just a little bit longer than my usual brushes. You see that? It's just a little bit longer. So that's kind of nice. It would be a little bit inconvenient if you're like traveling or something, but okay, how do you, what in the world? Scissors. Premium packaging if nothing else. Yes, that is true, Rosie. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just like, where's my trash? Okay. Can I make this fast on myself and like cut them all off at the same time? They're completely sealed. Like, it's not like they have like a fold over flap. They're completely sealed. What is that one? I do like that there's like a variety of sizes, but let's be real here. This is annoying having to unwrap everything. And then you've got all this plastic. Okay. But at least they're easier to get out now. Remember like a few weeks ago, I think it was my last live, when I mentioned I had to open all of those distress stain bottles? That was more frustrating than this. Oh, I missed one. Oh no, it is open. Come out. There we go. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to try this set in particular was because it had has some round brushes and it has some flat brushes. And I really think if you're going to do really fun, hold on, I got to throw this away. My garbage can is like 5 million years away. Come back, garbage can. I moved it. Okay. If you're going to do a bunch of watercoloring and make patterns and all sorts of things, it really is nice to have a flat brush here and there. So I wanted to like find one. This one is like one of those, what is it, petal? Oval wash. There we go. That's an oval wash. Then we have a size 12 round, which if you're just starting out, most of the time you're not going to have a brush that big. Okay, and then here's a smaller flat. So you've got this big flat, and then that looks like a 3/4, and that looks like a 1/2, size-wise. Here's another oval, 3/8. Oh, it's a dagger striper. There's a number 8 round. I'm hoping for a 2 round. Oh, there's a 3. There's a 3. Is this a 0? 0. We love a good 0. Always good for like little itty bitty stuff. A number 6 round, and what is this, like a 10? Yes, it is a 10, a number 10 round. Okay, I'm taking all of my little protective little caps off. So this is like a really big collection of brushes. We don't know if they're good yet. They look nice. Are they nice? Are they, Christina? We don't know. The brushes are Artegria. 10 premium watercolor art brushes. They are synthetic squirrel. So they're synthetic, so I would assume that they are vegan. So let's test this out. I'm thinking for kind of like what I want to do here, probably, this is a 6. The size 8 is probably going to be where we're at for now. So I'm going to set the rest of them aside. And let's get out our watercolors. I'm using my Magello Mission Gold watercolors. These are my favorite tube watercolors. I've used them a lot. I've only had to refill 2 colors over the years. I've had to refill this one, which is Opera Pink, and this one up here, which is Lemon Yellow. Those are the 2 colors I would say I use the most, maybe. Those are the only 2 that I've had to refill. I've got like, oh, it's a little cat fur that was stuck. Kitties. Okay, so here we are. All right, let's get this brush going. Okay. It doesn't have quite as much spring to it as I would have hoped. Where are my paper towels? They have run away. I swear they were right here. Hold on. I'm going to turn me off the screen for a minute here while I find my paper towels. Did they fall on the floor? Oh, they're hiding. They're right here. Hello. Okay. All right, I can be on screen again. I found my paper towels. Because you never know with watercolor when you're going to need them. Okay. So for this first one, I was thinking kind of like autumn colors. So I'm thinking maybe I should pick out the autumn colors first because, hold on, I've got to move things here. I don't have enough space. Okay. I was thinking maybe like some yellows to oranges to reds to purples. Okay, let's go with that. And we're just gonna give it a good little test here. Okay, so I want like a really big puddle of water. You guys probably won't be able to see this, but it's already like seeping into the watercolor paper and I want it to stay wet. Like I'm having to like lean down and like look at it. I want it to stay really wet for all. Can you guys, I don't know if you can see that. There you go. You can kind of see it in the light. You see how wet that is? I want it to stay really wet during all of my painting. And I want to make sure that my paints are pretty fluid. I don't want them to be super dry. Okay, I'm going to start over here and I'm going to do a tree just like she did, coming down. Okay, look at that. And it kind of blooms. And then I'm going to kind of just like dab on like a little bit of tree shape. Sorry, I'm going to zoom in for you as soon as I can find where my remote went. There it is. Okay, I'm going to zoom in for you a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. And now I'm going to go to a more golden yellow. In fact, I might even switch all the way over to like more of this orange. And come in and do another, and I want it to hit the bottom there. I can even go over into the yellow tree a little bit. But we're just making like tree shapes. Okay, I'm gonna go to a more reddish orange. Okay, my first thought is that I wish the point of this brush was just a little bit finer, but it's not terrible. Okay. My colors aren't spreading as much as hers were, but maybe I need to give it a little bit of a push with gravity. I'm also getting my brush wet. Okay, that looks crazy. That's okay. We're going. Okay, grab another red color. Make sure it's nice and fluid. My trees aren't looking so hot, but that's okay. It's kind of just go back and forth. Okay, I'm just like going down my palette here, changing colors as I go. Okay. All right, let's grab another red. Getting it really fluid. I can tell my paper is starting to dry over there, so I'm hoping it'll still spread. Doing some really cool stuff over here. That looks really cool. Okay, and then, all right, so we need to transition to purple. So I'm gonna grab more of like a purpley shade. I'm gonna bring it down. And I feel like I need to really encourage all of this to move. Okay. That was a lot of purple. I'm just letting it do its thing. Okay, purple, and then I think it could almost go into a brown maybe. Like back to her, but we'll do regular, like full on purple first. I think I could do 2 purple trees right here. Okay, I'm gonna get a little more water, add a little bit more over here. I'm gonna try to get this to spread. My water is not clean anymore, y'all. But I want to get these colors to spread out a little bit, especially that purple. I'm gonna add a little more purple over here. Got a little splatter right there. But that's okay. I kind of like that. We could like trim that down on both sides to create like a portrait card. I think that could look really cool. Okay, I want to keep it tipped up like this so that those colors can continue to bleed into each other. But I don't want to hit it with a heat tool because I really want to let it do whatever it wants with the colors. You know, like I don't want to like artificially change it. So I'm going to set this aside, but at an angle. And I'm also going to do this, just sopping up some of that color so that it doesn't, you know, feed back into that area that we want to stay really clean. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set this aside somewhere where it's at an angle. Perfect. I found a good spot. All right, let's get another board ready. And this one, I thought it would be fun to like paint like large leaf shapes, like little cat eye shapes, and just let them sort of bleed into each other. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I wanted to take that idea from that Instagram account and just like turn it on its head a little bit. So I'm taping it down so it doesn't warp too much. Actually, yeah, I want to try the leaf thing, but I also want to try what we just did, but with like green to blue, maybe even green to blue to purple, and make sort of like a Christmassy nighttime one. I think that would look cool. I wonder if it would work with like Yuli watercolors on black. I'm intrigued. Okay. But I do need to go clean my water bucket. In fact, I might even grab, yeah, I am going to grab my other water bucket because it has different wells in it. And I can have one for like what colors I'm mixing then, and the other one can be just clean water. Okay, so I'm going to remove me from that top corner for a moment while I go take care of my water. Just going to fill up my water bucket. Okay. Hold on, I gotta clean out this bucket. It's like the water's sudsy. I don't know why. And it should not be that way. It's still sudsy. I don't know what's going on. Like, did I get soap in this bucket somehow? So odd that it's all sudsy. I don't know why. Whatever. It's just weird. See how sudsy it is? I don't know why. There was no soap in it. It's a mystery. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to keep this back one for clean water. And this time we're doing leaves. So I'm thinking maybe I do want to do like, maybe like yellow to green to brown. I think, or yellow to green to red to brown. There we go. That's the winner. All right, so I'm just going to get my wet area. Oh, and I should a little bit of pink paint on that brush. Let's clean you out. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to get my wet area going here. Really wet like it was before. Maybe I'll even have it kind of go up a little bit high on one side. Okay. And then I'm going to start with more of a golden yellow. Sorry, you guys can't even see what I'm doing, but unfortunately, that's how it's going to have to be because we're so zoomed in. Okay, so I'm just going to like start with like a leaf shape, and then I'll just let it sort of bleed into that. Oh, I forgot, I need to tip my board. Whoa, hello. Okay, all right, have some color. Okay, and then I'm going to go to more of a lemony yellow. Switching to like a greenish yellow. Maybe I'll get some other little leafy shapes and then like make it like a stem. Trying to get that to bleed all the way down. I think I need to switch to a smaller brush. So I'm going to switch to this number 6. So now I'm going to try the number 6. And I'm also going to switch to different green. And then another green. I don't feel like I'm getting like quite as much color happening at the bottom. But that's okay. Okay, I'm going to switch to another green. Okay, and my paper is getting completely dry over here. So I'm going to switch back to that larger brush that I've cleaned off, and I'm adding a bunch of water over here. Hopefully it'll get the colors moving. All right, and then let's do like another really big leaf. Maybe even like some smaller ones to kind of transition over. And then I was going to try to go to like a, I don't know, I feel like I need to go to a blue, but was I going to go like green to yellow to red to brown? Oh, I messed it up, y'all. That's okay. All right, I do feel like I want to sop up all this at the bottom here. And I do like how that's looking, but let's go to like more of an olive green. Kind of a fun idea, just like these colors like bleeding down, right? Okay, I'm gonna go to like a little bit of a different color. Actually, that might be the same color I had. I don't know, I can't remember. Adding a little more water here, trying to get these to kind of bleed down. I'm going to go back to those shades to try to get them, just encouraging them to come down. Okay. Interesting. All right, let's try one more, and we're going to make it the Christmassy one. And let's also check in on that first one to see how it's drying. You know what? I almost liked it how it was drying before, but that's okay. I still love like this corner over here that orange over to the yellow. I think it looks really cool. But anyway, okay. These are kind of just like wet watercolor paper bleeds. Kind of, that's what it reminds me of. In fact, you know what? Since I liked how that other one was going, let's just dry this one because I like it where it's at now. Okay, I've got one little spot that refuses to dry right here. So I'm just gonna let that air dry. Everything else is mostly just stopped. And let's pull another piece of watercolor paper. This is Strathmore watercolor paper, by the way. All right, and let's do one more. And for the Christmas trees, I was thinking of like, let's see, I guess it would be kind of like a very pale green into some evergreen colors, and then into like a blue, like blue spruce type situation. I thought that could look kind of cool. And then we'll make these into cards. Okay. Dana's asking, what do I think of the brushes so far? So far, I like them. I wish there was a little bit more spring to them. I think that probably comes more into play for doing like a no-line watercoloring type of thing. So before we end here, I'm going to try to paint something that's tiny just as a test, just to kind of test it out. Okay, so we need some clean watercolor, or some clean water, I should say. And I'm just going to have this go straight across. And I'm just adding a lot of color. It would be, or water. It's easier if you use a bigger brush. I'm going to switch to this big brush and might as well give it a test, right? Okay, yeah, that put down a whole lot more water. Okay, can you see that there's like it's like a big puddle of water. Okay. And now we're going from like a really pale green, but I want it to be kind of like a tone green. Okay. All right, now, so maybe not quite as diluted for this next one. Okay, and then, okay, we're going to a blue. So I'm gonna maybe grab this other green. These trees are not the best, but also you can't really mess up trees like this too much. The brushes are from Artenegra. No, Artenegria. What is it? Artegria. Artegria. Sorry. They're linked down below in the supplies. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this other green. It's very, very green. All right, and I'm going to start transitioning that over to a blue. I'm going to just mix a blue into that a little bit. Sorry you guys can't see it on camera. I swear I added more blue to that, but it's not coming through. I'm going to add even more blue this time. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go almost like straight blue. It's like a peacock blue. Okay, my paper's starting to dry over on that one side, so I'm going to grab my big brush once again, add more. I don't want to add too much right here because I do want it to still like bleed on its own, but okay. All right, and then going into even more of a blue. I think I might stop it there. Although I wish it was like bleeding more down below. So I'm going to add a little water. Everything's still wet right now, so it'll still bleed really well. Add a little more blue up here. In fact, I think I'm going to add one more short tree. Just to kind of finish off that whole little segment of trees. And I think I'm going to take that blue, kind of get that to spread out just a little bit. There we go. And as we learned with that first one, I'm going to hit it with my heat tool to stop all the colors moving. Because I love all the veining that's happening, you know? Okay, that's not completely dry, but I'm going to let it air dry a little bit. And get that bottom edge. Okay, and let's go back. How's this one? Is it dry yet? It's pretty dry. All right, let's work on some greetings for these cards. So I'm going to move my watercolors. Actually, before we do that, I said I wanted to test out that watercolor paper. All right, I have this little scrap of watercolor paper. And I think for like painting small images, I'd probably use a number 3 or a number 0. So I just want to see how much spring those have, you know? Okay. I don't feel like there's quite enough spring on that. But really I should do a side-to-side comparison with the brushes I like to use, right? Okay, there's a little more control with the size 0. I think I like that one more. I think that's probably what I'm looking for. But let's compare that to, let me see. I know I have a size 0 Prado that I can try. Where is it? Or this one. I love this one. This Raphael. Sorry, it's hard to see it. This Raphael size 0. So let's just... Okay, yeah, it's about the same. I think it possibly picks up more paint, but that's like negligible. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend these brushes, especially for the price that they are. They're a very inexpensive brush. Let me check the price on those. I just looked it up. Currently going for $24 for the set of 10. So that's pretty good. I'm just gonna set this aside and get my water bucket out of the way, as well as my watercolor, so we can start putting stuff together. I'm gonna move my water bucket over to my sink. I think time is really gonna tell like how much I use these new brushes. Every once in a while you just need to get a new brush, you know, but so just wanted to try these out. But I think they performed really well today for what I was doing. Brandy, thank you for that super chat. You're always so supportive. I just love you. You're lovely. Okay, I'm in the corner again. Hello all. Okay. Paper towel. We're just cleaning up a little bit before we get to our cards, because we're going to have to do a little bit more drying. Okay. Oh, I should grab the, hold on 1 minute. I'm going to grab this link, copy, and then I can bring it over to the chat. Where did it go? There we are. Okay. I'm going to put a link to the brushes. This is when I wish I had a not so crafty mic to help me share links. There we go. Okay. Those are the brushes that I was testing tonight. All right. I'm going to hit this because I can tell it's just not quite dry. Especially like where it was really wet on the bottom. Okay, that's better. How's this one? This one, which is not dry. at all. Okay. The watercolors that I'm using today are also at Amazon. Let me grab a link for you. Okay, so I have these same exact paints in a different palette, but this is the one that I recommend if you want to try out these paints. Okay, so there are the watercolors. Ta-da! Okay. Oh, Jill says, let's see. I bought that brush set last summer to travel with. If I lose them, I'm not out money. Took a bit to get used to, but I like them. Perfect. Love it. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Okay, sorry, I had to just yell down to my husband. I could hear him in the kitchen. Okay, I'm going to remove all these. And I can put this board up here. So I have some little dies that I thought would look good with all of these. Just some simple die greetings. I thought like simple thanks would go well with these. And maybe even like a gold or silver. Yeah, Sherry, she would not let me steal Mike. No. I really love how that one turned out. That looks really cool. In fact, you know what? Maybe like die cut into a circle. That would look really cool. In fact, we're going to have to die cut these in order to get them on a card. So maybe I will just do that now. Hold on, I'm cleaning up my die cuts area. All right, let's get these ready. And okay, so the die cuts that I grabbed, there's this one from Kathy. It just says peace. I thought it would look really cool on this. Let's see what it looks like size-wise. All right, gotta cut this apart. Okay, so like, oh, that would be really pretty just right across. So if it was a circle, let me grab my circle dies. They're like, I really should just take me off screen because I'm like, I'm digging for stuff right now. Okay, where are you, circle dies? Okay, I've got additional circles from Waffle Flower. That's the first one I found, so that'll work. I'm not going for a specific circle size anyway, but maybe like, nope, bigger. Would the biggest one work? It would, but I think it would be a little too much with that grading. Okay, that could look really cool and then have that piece hanging off the side in white. Okay, stacked, like layered, stacked would be really, really cool. I like that idea. Okay, let's do that. All right, I have to make sure I have this where I want it. I mean, I'm sad I'm going to lose a lot of this cool stuff down here, but I think that's going to look really, really neat. Okay. You know what? It makes me wonder, could I cut this just halfway and then Okay, wait. How would I? Okay, hold on. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work out, and I might totally mess this up, but here we are. We're going to try it. Okay. Can I run it through that direction? I can. Okay, I only want it to come like... Okay, hold on. What in the world? How did my metal plate get bent? Do you see that? My metal shim got bent. We'll use the other side. I don't know how that happened. Okay, so we want it to cut... We only want it to cut to like right there. So I'm only going to have my cutting plate be to the point where I want it to stop. Okay, let me try this. Okay, I believe that only cut the top. Ha, that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my T-square ruler, get the paper towels out of the way, and where's my X-Acto knife? There it is. You know, I probably do have an arch to die, but do I know where it's at? No. Okay, and then we'll do this, and come over here. And also, we wouldn't be able to like DIY it if we did it. Look at that. Come on. We don't, who needs an arch die? Not us. No, because we're going by the, flying by the seat of our pants. Okay, and then I'm going to cut off this weirdness at the bottom. Just from where it was taped. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. All right, let's look at a card case. Sorry, not seeing Megan. Say hi to Ariel up there. Hey, Ariel. Okay. So if we put this on here, and then we'll have the piece die cut. It can be like right there. Okay, I'm thinking like a square card. A square card will look best. So let me grab my paper trimmer. 4 1/4. Lovely. Okay, and then, perfect. All right, grab some foam. And my scissors walked off. There they are. Oh, I've got a little bit of the foam hanging out over here. There we go. I also have a little bit of this corner. getting it right down there at the bottom. Lovely. I don't think we're going to need the circle dies again. So I'm just going to put those away. But I do want to cut this, and I'm thinking, do I just want it out of white, or should I do it out of like silver or something like that? And do I possibly want to have the little halo on it? Because with the little shadow layer, it would kind of come off the edge, and I kind of like that idea. I guess I could do vellum. Actually, I don't want to cover up all the watercolor. Let's just try it out of white. Yeah, I like that idea. Just out of white. And we'll cut it out like 4 or 5 times. And then I can also cut it out of silver and we can test it and see if we like it. But for now, I'm just going to do it out of white. I think it'll be very dramatic. And really, I have this thanks as well that I'm probably going to want out of white. I've got it out of white once. So while I'm cutting all of these, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one too. Why not? Come out. There we go. Like that thanks would look really nice too. Oh, that thanks is like perfectly sized for that, isn't it? Look at that, it came right out. I forgot, I'm cutting the thanks at the same time. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay, where's my little, there we go, my little pokey outy tool. White pearl. Yeah, white pearl would be pretty. I don't know that I have a white pearl cardstock though. Okay. Okay. What are you asking about, Sherry? Oh, okay. All right, I've got a die cut that's stuck to the plate. Okay, there we go, got it. Poke all these out, and I'm going to cut one more time, I think, so they're 4. There we go. All right, one more. Yes, the piece is from CZ Design. The thanks is one that I did for Simon, so it's just like the regular Simon Says stamp line. It's one that I did a while back. Oh my word, I sent it through with the thanks upside down. That's cute. I didn't even cut it. That's okay. We'll run it through one more time. Just right there. That'll work. Okay. There we go. Now it actually cut. Alrighty. Please come out. Seriously, do you guys do this where you just drop? Generally, it makes them pop out, but maybe I've just used this one too many times. I think the metal almost gets warm after you've cut a few, and it makes things stick. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm thinking I think I want two things. You know, like for both cards, there'll be one that says peace and then two that say thanks. So I need to cut out some more of the things. A few more. Come on, seriously. I think it's just a little bit too small of a die that I can't get it to like bend. Somehow I also picked a scrap of white cardstock that is thicker. So the ones I cut just now previous, they were 80 pound and this one is 110 actually, I think. So it's a little thicker, so I might be able to get away with just 3 of them. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to cut it 3 times. Okay. Meanwhile, we can look at this. Oh yeah, that's going to be pretty. Oh, it started to pop out of the die on its own. We love that. So we'll just run it through one more time. Okay. This one came out with the paper. I'll take it. Oh, die cutting machine is possessed. Okay. So I need to stack these really quick. Didn't I cut out? Oh, there it is. I'm like, didn't I cut it out 4 times? You did, Christina. 1 is on the card already. Okay. So this is how we're going to do this. Couple little dots here and there. So some of you might know that I'm on a journey to get my allergies under control, so I'm getting allergy shots. And what in the world? See, I'm telling you, it's the best. So I had to miss my scheduled allergy shots last week because I was sick. And I thought for sure going in today, you know, to pick up the allergy shot schedule again, that I would have to backtrack a week. That's what happens. If you miss some of the schedule, they have to backtrack a little bit for you because you're on a schedule. You're ramping up your, you know, how you handle the allergens. So I thought for sure I'd have to do that. But good news, I didn't. I still had, you know, 2 days of the grace period before they would make me backtrack. So I'm still on schedule. And I've been doing allergy shots basically, I guess only for 2 months so far. Maybe not even quite two months. Probably more like 6 weeks. I can't remember when I started. Okay, trying to get these lined up. All stacked pretty. Okay, Okay, there we go. Now they're more stacked, right on top of each other. All right, one more. Okay. Get those all stacked up. Yes, Kathy picked a really nice font for this piece here. I like how spread out it is. It's very loose. I like that. Okay, so we're going to put that. You know, it bugs me that the horizon isn't exactly right on. That bugs me. Oh well, I feel like I need to like bring that down a little bit to kind of make the difference between the two. So I might have to do that. The horizon is not exactly level, I should say. I should have tried to correct that when I cut the bottom, but oh well. Okay. I think about right there. About right there is nice. I almost wish I had like a little bit of like silver twine to like wrap around right there. I guess I could pretend. You know, like my little die cut for my little thing, like peace, you know, but not that large, obviously. Okay, we'll leave it like that. But we need to stack all these other things. Okay. And this one I think I can probably stack a little bit faster since it's not so dainty and linear. I can just go like this. I can even maybe do 2 at a time. So then I take this one, if I can get it on there. I put that on top, and then I stack those, and then I squidge them all together. So much faster. Okay. One last one. Ta-da. Okay. I'll put that one under an acrylic block. While I get this one prepped, I just gotta poke out the centers. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, just some dots on each one, except this one will stack together even faster. Because I can go that one, followed by that one. And then the glue was still wet enough that you can move everything around until they're stacked just like so. And after they're perfect, put them under the acrylic block or under the glass paperweight. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now let's figure out what's happening with these other two. Getting those dies out of the way. Okay. This one could go portrait. I think we could totally do portrait and do it with, well, let's try A7 and A2 layers, see which one is going to look best. I'm almost thinking A7 might give us a little more width on it. So like, no, it's gonna, needs to be smaller. We lose a lot of what's down below, or on the side, I mean. So maybe not. Oh, wait. What if we went like this? Could do it like that. And then have the thanks centered. Let's see. Just like that, and then the thanks. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Let's do that. Alrighty. I'm putting the thanks right there. Let's make sure it's kind of the way we want it first. Okay. I will grab my 5x7 card base. Ooh, that's gonna be pretty. Oh no, I had like, my die is a little bit dirty in it. Transferred ink or something along that top edge. I need to clean my dies apparently. We might have to just trim the edge off. That's not a big deal. In fact, let's do that. Get my little paper trimmer. I can just barely trim that edge off all around. I probably just need to use a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and that'll take off any paint or ink that's on the edges of my dies. Okay. And then this other one, I'm thinking maybe an A2 card landscape. Like, do I want to do the full thing? I think it could fit. Oh yeah. And then I can just have it be like right there. I like that. So for this one, we're preserving practically the entire painting, which is nice. Hopefully the edges of this one are not super dirty. I guess I should have checked. Let's see. Looks like there was just a little bit top. Someone said sand eraser, so let's try that this time around. And seriously, I don't see anything on the die. So like, what is... Well, maybe there was something there, and it came off when it cut this one. All right, let's try the sand eraser and see if that takes off any of the weirdness on the edges. Because it might. That it does, it is working. No worries. Good call. All right, gotta grab another card base. I just like scored and folded a bunch of card bases this weekend. So, because I was completely out of my 5x7s, but now I've got them all, so we're good. I've got lots. What is happening? There's like little things on it. Okay. Let's see. Let's do Tombow Extreme Adhesive for this one that's the full A2. And then all right, we can just, oh, that's going to be so pretty. Just nice and simple. I love that. Okay. Just getting all my little glue spots. Make sure that's level. In fact, I have my little T-square ruler, and I can slide up. Make sure that's level. I like that. All right, and then for the other one, we have a 5x7 card base. So dramatic with such a small cutout on it, but I love that. It really lets it breathe. We'll just do 2. Okay. I'm going to cut one down so it's a little bit more narrow. I can save that, the rest of the foam tape, for a different card. Carrie's asking, do you use 8.5 by 11 cardstock to make your 5x7 card bases? I do. And then you have like scraps left over. Hold on, I've got like a little bit of something on the front of that card, so I want to turn it over and use the other side. Okay. And we've got our little thanks die cut. Putting that kind of centered. There we go. All right, clean up a little bit. And then and call it a night. 3 cards in an hour and a half. Success. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. So here are all 3 cards. There we go. All right. I'm going to give a little spiel for those watching the edited replay. And then if you guys have questions, we'll do that right here at the end. Okay. So here are all 3 cards for tonight. Just a reminder that that Instagram account that's, oh my word, now I've got to look it up again. It was like something, was it the writing desk? Is that what it was called? Hold on. Got to look it up. Saved, saved, saved. This writing desk. This writing desk. Okay, there we go. Let's try that little spiel again. Okay. So here are the finished cards for tonight, all inspired by this video on Instagram from this writing desk. Her trees are much prettier. Don't look too closely. But anyway, all inspired by that video. And I think they turned out so pretty. I love that I was able to preserve some of that bleed down here at the bottom, cut it off up here. I think it just turned out so well and so pretty. Great die cut greetings for this as well. Thanks so much for joining me. I will be back with another card video very soon. Thanks for watching. Okay. Alrighty, let's try, and then we can add, there we go. Okay, so you can see the cards and you can see me. We like that. Let's zoom out. Okay, so if you have a question that I missed earlier, now is the time to ask it, because then I'll see it. Rhonda's asking, you talked about spring in your brushes. What is specifically you talking about? How does that help you paint? Okay, the spring is what, like, hold on, let me see if I can hold up a brush. Oh, this one's wet, but it'll work. Okay, or I'll show it on screen right here. Okay, so the spring is like when you bend it back, like how quickly it snaps back. And that's really good to test when it's like heavy with paint and you're pressing down and it splays out and then it comes back up. See how it kind of splays out and comes back up? If it's got a really, really strong spring to it, it's a little bit easier to control the very, very fine point of the brush. So I would say something with like a really weak spring is like, you're like this and it's all, and it like bends over really easy. It doesn't come back very well. Like, let me see if I can find one that has a really good spring to it. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's like a feeling, you know? So anyway, I don't know if that made sense. I don't even know if that helped you at all, but hopefully. What watercolor paper do you use again? So tonight I used Strathmore Pre-Cut 5x7, but most of the time my favorite is Fabriano Artistico Extra White Cold Press. Both are really good. The Strathmore, I think, it's not quite as thick. It's not quite as plush. It's also not as expensive, but close. I really love the Fabriano Artistico Extra White. I have 5 million pads of it. I also really like Arches. I love Arches, but I don't love that it's more cream than white. And a lot of times when I'm watercoloring, I want to make sure my whites match. Like, even though the Strathmore isn't perfect, this isn't bad, right? Pretty sure that's Strathmore. Yeah, that is Strathmore. It's hard to see on screen, but it is, the whites just don't match perfectly, whereas the Artistico from Fabriano does match my white cardstock. So that's just something to consider. Let's see here. Scrolling back up for other questions. Let's see here. Scrolling back up. Talking talking about cutting trees in yards. Shy is asking, are we going to get a greeting farm? Oh, come back. Are we going to get a greeting farm in Copic Live so I can follow along? LOL. I know, selfish of me. Maybe for our member Zoom this Friday. For those of you who are part of my member community here at YouTube, we are having our monthly Zoom session on Friday night where we just Zoom and craft and we can all talk. So if you would like to join in on that, you can join for as little as $5 a month. There's a join button down below. I just send out a Zoom link and we meet up on Zoom. So Shy, maybe that's this Friday. I'll just be coloring, and that means you have to join. Yeah, Shy, you have to watch with us. And you can't just talk to us this time, Shy. You have to color with us. Okay. BJ Clark says, since you have your online with Concord and Ninth, are you going to be exclusive to Concord and Ninth from now on? Being the only company I'm designing product for, yes, it's only for my line at Concord and Ninth. I will only be designing product for C9. Does that mean I will only use C9 products in my videos and that's all I craft with? Absolutely not. I will use everything and anything under the sun that inspires me. I love that. I have never been tied to just one brand when it comes to card making, and I don't think I ever want to be. There's too many fun things in the world. Too many fun stamps. Like, okay, I love a really good, like, illustrated person. That is not my jam. So there's no way that I could limit myself to only using my own line with Concord and Ninth because I love using those stamps from other companies. So if that's what you mean, that would be a no. I can use whatever I'd like. But as far as designing and illustrating product, yes, I am only designing and illustrating product for my own line at C9 for the Christina Werner with Concord and Ninth line. Okay. So weird seeing Christina's left hand on the right side of the screen. Do you have it mirrored or something? What was happening? Okay. Linda says, I'm starting to get hairs on my die cuts when cutting into my magnetic Empress mat. Why? And this was with cardstock and paper that you previously did not have that happen. It might be that you need to replace your magnetic mat. I would recommend cutting the same die down into the magnetic mat and then cut the same die flipped over where it's cutting into the clear plate and compare. Is it cutting better into the clear plate? Yeah, that probably tells me you need to replace your magnetic mat. But also, I think that you get a better cut cutting into the clear plate in general. I still cut into the magnetic mat because for those things where you like to see where the die is placed, like if it's around an image or like today when I was die cutting like the actual painted area, you really do want to have it cutting into the magnetic mat. So in that case, I would do that. But also, most of the time when I'm doing that, it's not like super intricate cuts. Like if I'm doing something super intricate, like it's a greeting, I'm going to have it cut into the clear plate because I get a better cut that way. Hope that answers your question. Do you have a start date for the Christmas card series? Yes, it's right before Halloween. Let me give you an actual date. I'm going to have to check this calendar just to be sure because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Okay, it is October 25th. Friday, October 25th will be the first day of the holiday card series for 2024. Barbara's asking, is the palette you use sold separately from the paints? If so, what is it called? Yes, the palette I was using is actually, it's from Magello, but I think it's their bulletproof palette. And I actually bought the larger tube paints. So what I did, the watercolors that I linked, the one that has the small tubes, that was the first set I bought. I still have it, but I used so much of it that I was like, you know what? I can see the writing on the wall that I'm going to want to only, like I'm going to use more of these paints. So that's when I went back. I bought the bulletproof palette and I also bought the larger tubes. And I've been filling up multiple palettes using those larger tubes since. In fact, I have another travel palette that I put together, which, did I save the video footage for that? I think I did. I was prepping that palette live with my members, and so they have seen that. But I prepped that palette using the same tube watercolors, and those were the larger watercolors. When I do the links for this video, I will go ahead and link to both sets. The smaller tubes that come with the palette, and also the larger tubes, and then the separate palette. I'll have 3 different links for you over at Amazon. I think they're all really reasonably priced for what they are, especially for such nice products. I really like them. So I'll link to those as well. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, Andrea linked to the palette. Thank you. Lynn is asking about my September release being restocked. Hopefully any day now. I'm hoping by the end of this week that they will at least have the larger stencil set, the berries and leaves. But everything was on order. Like first day it went out, like C9 could see that things were going to sell out really quickly. So they hopped right on it and they reordered right away. So as soon as everything is restocked, I will let you all know. What is this? No, the split screen has you on the left and the overhead on the right. Your left hand comes in. Oh, got it. Got it. Okay. Any upcoming releases with cats? Yes. That's all I can say. Molly says, when my magnetic mat starts to wear, I add the metal shim. I would suggest that, but I have my metal shim in all the time. I have always felt with this machine I needed that metal shim in from the start, but I think I need to replace it because as we discovered earlier, it's all bent. Like what happened? Like I don't even know. Okay. Renee's asks, can you get the magnetic mat or do you have to buy all the plates? Yes, you can get just the magnetic mat. I think I just bought 3 of them because they're the ones, that's the item that I go through the quickest. Let's see here. Any hints on your October release? I gave some hints during Craft Roulette on Friday. Yes, it is more holiday product because, you know, we're getting right into that holiday card series soon. So there is one particular stamp and die set that I'm really excited about that is specifically for Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. And then I've also just put holiday in there as well. So I'm excited to do some Hanukkah and Kwanzaa cards. I think that'll be really fun. So there's that. And then I've got some layered stencil sets that are really fun. Yeah. Can't say much more. Okay. Let's see here. Any other questions? Oh, Laura, that's so sweet. Thank you. All right, I'm going to wrap up for tonight. Linda says it pains her to mark up her pretty clear plates. I know, me too. I don't know if you guys noticed, but generally I always have one plate that's very clean. There's a little bit of cut on it because I made the mistake. But I keep one plate clean so that when I'm cutting gold or silver or metallic cardstock, like I've got it face up, I want to have a really clean plate so that the plate doesn't leave markings and etchings on the gold or metallic paper, if that makes sense. So I like to always have one clean plate and then one plate that is all marked up to all get-go. It's awful. That's what I like to do. And then, so basically when I buy the clear plates, I'm just replacing that top plate all the time. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Renee says, where do you find just the magnetic mat? You can get them directly from annagriffin.com. That's where I buy all of my Empress stuff because they generally have everything in stock. Okay. All right. Andrea says, thank you for the great live. I'm glad you're feeling better. I hope everyone has an awesome week. I agree with those sentiments. I am glad that I'm feeling better. Just a little bit of my cold is hanging on, but you know, for only being a week after my cold came on, this was like a really fast recovery for me. So I'm like, where's some wood that I could knock on? I don't want to jinx that, but thank you all for joining me tonight. I'll fill out the links tonight so you guys can click over and do those things. I loved the cards tonight. They turned out so cute. And just a reminder about that class that's coming up in October over at Village of Inspired People or Inspiring People. I can't remember what it is. but it's from Creative Scrapbooker Magazine. I've got links down below. All you have to do is sign up for that private Facebook group for just the month of October, and you can watch my class live. If you are watching this in the future, you could still sign up and my class would be archived. But for those of us right now in real time, you just need it for the month of October. And I hope you love all the content you see in that Facebook group, and maybe you'll stay and make yourself a home there. I think that'd be really great. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I will be back probably Wednesday with a regular edited video. Those of you in my premium membership will have already seen it. It is the card that I made on Saturday that took a nosedive. And then everyone in the chat said, don't give up, just keep going. And I'm glad I listened, because I ended up with something I really enjoyed. So it was one of those cards that had a lot of mistakes, but in the end, everything turned out great. So I hope you'll come back on Wednesday to see that. Thanks so much for joining me tonight, and I will see you all in another video very soon.